Hello, everybody.
What's up?
What's
What's
good?
up?
What's up,
How's it going
boys?
tonight, boys? How we
Mm,
feeling?
Yeah.
mm, mm.
If you're joining us right now, this is season 2, episode 10 of the Bengal Brothers Podcast, and I'm Reg. Whoa, there we go. I'm Reg, and I'm here with my brothers Bob and Ray. How's it going, guys?
What's going, brother? Who Day Bingo Nation?
Well, we're coming off another tough loss. It was another Ravens game. That was, yeah,
Getting swept by the Ratbirds,
rough
man.
one.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I had to definitely take a day or two, especially since the Bengals didn't play Sunday, to step away from football for a night or two because I was like, woo. That
It was
was a
kind of
tough one.
nice not having the anxiety of the normal Sundays.
Yeah.
Take a
Ooh,
day
day,
off.
April.
Who Day? Yeah, man, it's rather depressing, actually. you know, when you put that many points on the board, your quarterback performs at that level, you still lose the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because never do I remember a season being so exciting yet so depressing and so many losses. It's just
This
mind-boggling.
this season has been the definition of a roller coaster. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, we all use that cliche sometimes with a lot of shit in life, but this season has for sure been a roller coaster.
It's like getting stuck on the Son of Beast.
Yeah, part of that roller coaster has been the offense, but the offense has been pretty steady through big stretches, and they've 10 weeks in, you pretty much know who you are at this point around the league. I mean, that's how football is, and the Bengals offense has proven that they're going to be top 10 in most categories. Obviously there's some situational issues and some things that we're obviously going to talk about tonight. um but yeah, let's jump into the offense.
Well, I'll start us off. First thing is this offense doesn't necessarily have to have T. Higgins. I think Burrow and Chase have proved that time and time again now that, yeah, Higgins is a hell of a player, and every team would love to have him as a number 2 wide receiver. But this offense can put up points without him. I mean, it'd be nice to have one of these younger guys step up, and unfortunately that's yet to happen. Burton got another shot this week. I wasn't impressed. You know, uh, I mean, the tight end position, Gasecki's here 1 week and the next week he's incognito. You know, we'd be in serious trouble if we didn't have the Chase Burrow combo. That's for sure. Running games inconsistent as ever.
Yeah, let's do
We
our
will all
weekly.
hope that this was a Super Bowl year. But even as good as they are on offense, this team really isn't a Super Bowl team. I mean, we're just not.
At least not in terms of those plays you need to make throughout the game that are going to win you the game. The Bengals have consistently not made them all year, and even on offense. Like we could do our, I was going to say, I'll do our weekly rundown of the offensive statistics. 12th in total yards per game. They're second in pass yards per game, 28th in run yards per game, 6th in points per game. And my note of the week was only 5 teams have fewer rush attempts than the Bengals. The Bengals are 27th in rush attempts. So, I mean, you look
That's
at
not
that. I mean,
surprising.
for the most part, this is a top 10 offense. Their identity is clearly not running the ball. And that's obviously an issue that's hurt them consistently. We know that.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
ESPN's got us ranked at 7.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, and like you brought up Burrow, Bobby, this is Burrow's current. Just this isn't all the statistics, but he's first in yards, tied for first in touchdowns, has the second highest rating. He's ninth in completion percentage, and has the 6th fewest turnovers. So Burrow, by all accounts, is balling out. Obviously, him and Chase. And that's partially my opinion. What's so painful about this year is that we're getting two of the best years are superstar players that we're building this whole core team around. We're getting those seasons from them right now, and we're 4-6. April
It's
said,
definitely
Higgins and Chase are a team. No team can double cover both. They give us
Yeah,
more options.
that's true. That's true.
Nick came in and said, "What's up, my guys?" What's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's frustrating, man. I mean, yeah, Joe did ball out per se, but I mean, you got to question what's going through his mind on this third and short and fourth and short. You know, I mean, what are you really seeing? And honestly, bro, you don't have that chemistry built up with Burton yet. I mean, that's not there. The timing, you know, and it showed. And it's like, you know, I kind of question it, man. I know Bengal Bob said the running game has been pretty inconsistent, but at the end of the day, I mean, last week was Chase's first full game being our starting running back. And Chase Brown played his fucking ass off in that game, man. Got us numerous first downs, you know, came in clutch for Burrow in the check down numerous times. And
Right, as a receiver,
you know,
not as a running back.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, you know, yeah, he didn't put up as many rushing yards as he did from the previous week where he put over 120. But at the end of the day, man, like he's got to get in a rhythm himself, you know, and when you're inconsistent play caller telegraphs when you do decide to run the ball, it sets your running back up for failure, man. We saw that with Joe Mixon.
Well, I personally
Joe
think
Mixon's a hell of a running back, but he was gaining 1 and 2 yards. So It felt like it wasn't a loss. We were losing Joe Mixon, but at the end of the day, like, when you're telegraphing where we're running the football, this ain't fucking peewee. This ain't high school.
Yeah.
This ain't even college, bro. This is the big boys. They're going to read that shit quick, and they're going to pick you apart. And that's what we see, man. I mean, fuck, we tell them exactly where we're going every time.
I think this week told us everything we needed to know about how Joe, Zach, Dan Pitcher all feel about the run game. And that's that they don't truly have any faith in it. Because
no trust at all.
They just played the number one rush defense in football, and you might be able to hear the cat in the background. She's been on one the past few days. She's on meds, but I think this game told you literally everything you need to know about how the coaches and Joe, all the minds that are in the offensive room, they don't have faith in the run game. Rather be the O-line play or running back play, which I think they have faith in Chase Brown. They've proven that. But, like, I mean, they played the number one rush defense, and their clear strategy was we're not even going to try to run the ball in most big downs. And, like, to your point, Ray, you brought up Joe, both fourth and shorts in the middle of the third there. Like, I think it was mid-third, or shortly after halftime. Excuse me. Burrow literally, I think the first call, going back and watching it a few times, was a run call. And Joe checked to a pass. His first read wasn't there, and he took, whether it was the second or third read, which was Jermaine Burton down the sideline. And it was 4th and 2, and it felt so bad. And it was like one of those things where it's like Joe was obviously trying to put us in the best look that he thought he was putting us in. But it doesn't mean it doesn't feel terrible. And the second 4th and short, the exact same thing. I think they had a pass call called. And for whatever reason, the first 2 reads were there, Joe ended up taking the ball down the sideline. So both 4th and shorts, you end up essentially taking a shot to the casual viewer. It looks like you were literally, we're taking a shot on 4th and short because they're expecting the run. No, there was literally nothing there. And my opinion, most of the game, Joe had happy feet because he was feeling the pressure. And one of the key signs of that is when he did get time, he was rushed, even though he had pressure because he was just so used to feeling it. You know?
Oh, they
hammered him.
Yeah,
they hammered him.
Whole game.
April said, I feel like our offense is the issue. Burrow definitely isn't. Again, another season, Burrow's getting tackled time after time after time again. He's under constant duress.
Well, what really sucks is that all the talking heads and even us are going to a handful of fucking plays in the game that where you try to find a mistake that Burrow made or a misread or, like on the 2-point conversion, Chase is eating them alive all day, and your play call is to Tanner Hudson, for the 2-point conversion when you have man to man.
Gesicki, but the point's still the same.
Right.
I think the first read was Gesicki.
Right.
But
It's sad that you have to go and look back through the tape and find 4 or 5 mistakes that Burrow made. That's crazy.
That's really all it is. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, it's just crazy to me that that's what he's playing so good that I don't care who the quarterback is in the league. You're going to find plays during the game. Well, they could have done this read, or they could have checked out of that play, or they could have checked into this play. And it's just, I think it's sad that, that sums up this season. As you go back to all the games we've lost, and you can find the play or two that determine the outcome of that game. It's like everything is so fucking hard for this team. And you sit and watch other teams, and it's like it doesn't look as hard. I swear to you, I know I'm wrong probably, but it just shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, the offense shouldn't have to score 30-plus points to win every game.
No, they shouldn't.
That falls on Zach.
What you're saying, Bengal Bob, is it's the coaching.
Well, if you want to talk about coaching, I would have fired Lou Anarumo Friday fucking morning. You allow 4 touchdowns in the last 18 minutes of play. But we won't get into that because obviously we disagree on that. But
right, but let's talk about Chase.
No, we disagree on that.
Before we move into defense of talk, Ray, I don't want to talk about offense and not talk about Chase in the season he's having. I mean, right now, Chase is currently first in yards, first in receptions.
On pace for the Triple Crown.
He's leading in all 3 categories.
It's been done like 5 times.
And through 10 weeks. So this isn't just a small sample size. If he can have just 3/4 of the first half of the season during the second half, he doesn't have to do quite what he's done. And he could definitely at least finish in yards and touchdowns. Because he's leading more than like 9 other teams combined in receiving touchdowns. I mean, it's insane.
Well, dude, and not to mention he's
lethal, man.
Not to mention he's stacking up games that only like Jerry Rice has ever done in his 20-year career. Like some of the games he's putting together are just ridiculous. And I don't care what anybody says. He's the best wide receiver in football by far.
Chongo said Jamar's a great player, but the player that passed on the draft him is not arguably the best lineman in the NFL. So talking about Panay, so you don't take a wide receiver when you have O-line needs. One of the top QBs of the generation is being wasted because the line is once again terrible.
I think we're going to be all right with Mims.
It's a 2-sided.
Yeah.
Very few teams in this league. Very few teams in this league would have passed on Jamar Chase for a lineman. Very few teams would have done that.
I think with the connection Chase had, I think they had to.
Yeah, I mean that's. That's it, dude.
Yeah.
If Jamar played on any other team, we wouldn't have had Jamar. But because he played with Joe, that's why we have Jamar.
If they stay on this pace, they are going to shatter Reggie Wayne and Peyton Manning's records, or Montana to Rice. They're gonna shatter all these guys' numbers.
If Chase does sign a mega deal, which I do believe he's going to with the Bengals, he'll play most of his career with Joe. They'll be the all-time receiver duo.
No, by far they will be.
Just modern inflation in general. April said, well, let's just mention the refs. I feel like we lost this past week's game because of the refs not calling penalties against our team. Face mask holding, he's roughing the passer.
Well, we didn't lose because of them, but they didn't fucking help us, did they? Burrow took way too many late hits that should have been called. He took way too many hits that should have been called.
Shout out to Nick. Nick made me. I wanted to show these off on the stream. He 3D printed me a Bengal sign.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
And,
good shit, Nick.
Bengals cookie cutter. Look at this thing.
Oh, that's dope.
Sorry, I don't know. The camera's reversed.
So you're gonna make Bengal cookies for Thanksgiving, Reg? So you're gonna make Bengal cookies for Thanksgiving?
That'd be dope. Actually, it's a good idea. I should.
We should decorate them.
All right.
I think, man, I think Chase's speed is just so. I think it's just underrated, dude. I mean, how many times have we seen him catch the ball, man, and literally just pull away from everybody the way he does? And people talk about Tyreek's speed and all the other receivers' speed. No one talks about Jamar's breakaway speed, man. And he does it time and time again. You know.
Yeah, he's got Matt. I mean, he just knows how fast Aaron can run just fast enough. Because sometimes it doesn't look like he's trying to run that fast, and he's pulling away.
I'll tell you that fourth quarter catch in the back of the end zone. Not only was it an unbelievable throw, but unbelievable control by Chase to catch it and bring it down inbounds. I mean,
honestly, I think there's probably only 3 quarterbacks in football that can make that throw right now in the NFL.
Yeah, it was a hell of a throw.
That ball is a mixture of touch, but it still has to be. You have enough power to be like accurate to be able to get over the 2 defenders to the back. I mean, that's an unbelievable throw. That might be one of the best throws Joe's. I mean, he's had some great throws, but that one was, unreal. Before we move off offense, T. Higgins, Orlando Brown update. They're both day-to-day. Both of them did walkthroughs today that I saw like in an hour before the podcast. I checked, and they did walkthroughs today. So Orlando Brown back, honestly, is this point to me is much bigger than T. Higgins.
Yeah,
I hate that I feel that way, but Burrow's under duress constantly. Robert said, "I still think they're playing too conservative. The coaches need to have more confidence in the offense and defense. Be more assertive, forward thinking, and go back to no huddle. Throw some trick plays more often. Put the defense on their heels." I like that.
Burrow tries to go no huddle a lot, and the refs stop him.
Yeah, he's been stopped. Honestly, I feel like too much this season.
I think so too.
Ray, you want to kick us off on defense?
Yeah, fuck it, bro. Why not, man? I mean, shit, dude.
I know you got a lot to dwell on, dude.
I just don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I mean, Lamar. Hats off to Lamar, dude. I mean, I hate the Ratbirds, but I mean, he's a glorified fucking running back, dude. And to ask any defensive lineman the way defensive linemen are built to try to open field tackle the guy is, I mean, it's asking a lot, dude. I mean, there were numerous times in that game where if that's any other quarterback in the league, Cincinnati probably walks away with 3 or 4 sacks in this game. There were numerous times B.J. Hill was back there, and B.J. Hill would have had his hands on him had Lamar not be so elusive, and fast. So it's, I mean, at the end of the day, we're getting better. I mean, shit, boys were ranked 19th. That's an improvement, right?
Yeah.
No comment on that.
No, I mean, they honestly, they've gotten much better against the run. Honestly, they're 23rd in yards allowed per game. They're 22nd in pass yards per game. They're 17th in run yards per game. That's the highest they've been going back to maybe mid last year. I don't think they've cracked around 15 and run and as far as rush yards allowed. But still 23rd in yards allowed per game, 22nd pass yards per game, 17th in rush yards allowed per game, 26th in points allowed per game. They're giving up 26.2 points a game. 26th in scoring defense. That's what sucks.
The numbers don't mean shit to me.
They've had
the numbers don't mean shit to me. Especially against the run. The only reason why they've gotten better against the run is because our offense is putting up points and doing the damage they're doing. Teams don't have to run as much. Because you better believe if we weren't scoring like that, Derrick Henry would have rushed for 150 yards on this fucking defense. Once again, you got guys trying to, love tap a motherfucker instead of knocking the shit out of him and knocking him out of bounds. This defense still can't tackle. You're still getting smoked on the back end. Cam Taylor's still regressing. You still only have one pass rusher who, when you go up certain teams, guess what? They get the chip on him. They get the double team on him. You don't get no pressure because you have an old has-been on the other side who is only good for a certain style of play, and it sure as hell ain't rushing the passer. I would have fired Lou Anarumo Friday morning and not thought twice about it. You allow 4 scores in the last 17, 18 minutes of the biggest game of the season. Some of it's the players, a big part of it's coaching. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, it's embarrassing to see whoever the Joe Blow Wallace guy is, never heard of him, run down the field and score like that.
Bro.
2 or 3 Bengals get their hands on him. I mean, that is embarrassing.
Don't get him out of bounds.
That is embarrassing. The amount of missed tackles is embarrassing. The way this secondary gets smoked is embarrassing. The way we don't get pressure on a quarterback unless it's Trey Hendrickson, that's embarrassing. You have one of the best offenses in the league. You should be fighting for the number 1 or number 2 seed in the NFL, and instead you were 4-6. And you're only 4-6, not because of the very few mistakes this offense has made. You are 4-6 because your defense sucks. It's been trashed for 2 straight seasons. And for this front office to continually march out the players on defense that we have, not go make a move before the trade deadline. No, let's not do that. Let's go bring in 2 has-beens this past week. And they don't even want to stay because who knows what happened in those meetings.
Yeah.
Guys sitting on the couch would rather go back to sitting on the couch.
Bingo block computer, bro. Like
he probably does. But at the same time, our biggest problem is defense. And that would have been the breaking point if I was Duke Tobin or the Black Bruins, whoever. That would have been the breaking point Thursday night to allow that bullshit to go down in front of the world to see. This team's not improving. Yeah, it may look like we've gotten better in defense. We have not gotten better. In some areas, I think we're worse.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with like 99% of that sentiment. I think we're having some technical issues. Can you hear me, Bobby?
Yeah.
I think it's Ray, isn't it? Or is it me?
It's Ray.
Yeah, I think he just.
It's always Ray, bro. Bingo Bob starts going on a rant and he breaks my fucking computer.
April followed up
Still
with what
don't know
Bobby
if you hear
said.
me
She
or
said,
not.
"Where the fuck is Hubbard?
Like,
Hendrickson is full beast
fuck are
mode
we doing?
99% of the game. He seems like
I
main
don't know.
defensive player going full throttle."
Look, every time
Hubbard is one of those players that they keep longer than they should.
You there, Ray? Blink 3 times.
Blink 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear
This
you.
is ridiculous, bro. Can you hear me?
Trey Hendrickson, yep.
Every time you go on your little rants, bro, you legit break my fucking computer, bro. Like, do you not understand the progression our defense has been able to put together over the past 3 or 4 weeks? You do realize what the halftime stats were, right? You do realize Derrick Henry was like 6 for 21 yards. Lamar Jackson was like 1 for 6 yards. Like, they had shit total offense. Like, we dominated the first half. Absolutely dominated them on defense in the first half.
Yeah.
So again, it's progression. Now it's trying to put pieces together, bro, to play 4 quarters of football, because that's what it is 4 quarters. We played an outstanding first 2 quarters in the first half on defense. Fell to absolute pieces in the second half. I don't disagree.
Which is a sign of a very bad defense, dude.
Friday morning. Well, you're sitting there saying, "Oh, you didn't wake up Friday morning, you would have fired Lou and Lou's gone." Like, okay, like that's stupid, bro. That's fucking stupid, bro. That's just stupid, man. That's
dude, that's a classic sign. That's a classic sign of a bad defense. Yeah, you can come out and play a decent half in the first half, beginning of the game, but by the second half, what did we see?
Well, I'll tell you this. I do believe Lou should be on the hot seat.
We saw Baltimore
but I don't
make
think
adjustments at halftime, and we saw the defense not make so many adjustments.
Who's that ball on?
Go ahead, Reg. Sorry.
I was going to say is I do believe Lou should be on the hot seat, but honestly, the Bengals don't make fires during the season. They don't. They
had before.
They have
Terrell Austin.
I mean, typically and Lou, they have a lot of respect for Lou, so I think just out of respect, I don't think they would fire Lou during the season. But I do believe that if things are this way, continue the remainder of this season, to where the defense continues to hold back this team, which I truly believe the defense has been holding back this team, they will consider making changes. I mean, and that's one of the things Zach's got to do better as a head coach, among many things, is he's got to hold the defensive staff accountable. I know he spends most of his time on the offensive side of the ball, but your job as a head coach is to be able to manage everybody and be a leader. A leader to everybody, you know? And clearly he's not been a strong enough leader. Part of the situation with Dan Pitcher coming into this season was to pass a little bit of Zach's power to Dan to be able to be that voice in the offensive room. You know, and honestly, I think the goal in the long run is for Burrow to be like Peyton Manning and call all of the plays on the field, which is how Brady sort of finished his career, where Peyton was at. Burrow was close to being there. Like, I truly believe that we're within a couple of seasons, if Zach's still the head coach, of Burrow calling most of the plays on the field. They're going to script 15, 20 plays. They're going to go through and break down all the plays that Burrow likes on third down, on first down, second, and those are the plays that they're going to practice, and then that's what Burrow's going to call in the game. And they've been doing that at a higher and higher tick every week. And sometimes the Zach's making the final decision, and it's not right. Sometimes he's doing what he feels is best, and it is right to some people. It's wrong to some people. I think Zach's biggest failure right now is his overall leadership, especially with his leadership on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's as true for Lou and all of the defensive staff. You know, and I think that you look at the rest of this season, despite the roller coaster this year's been on, and it's been a roller coaster. You want to know how I know that? Because you look at one of the truest statistics in football that tell you a team, the turnover ratio. The Bengals are currently at a 0. A 0. Meaning they have turned the ball over the exact same amount of times that they have takeaways. You don't win football games, close games, without having a positive turnover ratio. You just don't, at any level.
No.
And they're at a 0, which means that they're not that bad. And that's why they've had some close games. We know 5 losses by like 13 points, whatever that number is. Bengals fans have said it. It's irrelevant. But still, I mean, the Bengals are on borderline. They're at this teetering point. And
I look at it like in
I could see them
big
winning
games.
out. I could see them losing 2 or 3 games.
Right, in big games, you're up 10 the first time you played Baltimore in the fourth quarter. Lost that.
Robert said, well, Ray, the defensive choices should have been made preseason.
Yeah, because our drafting has sucked on the defense side of the ball. You better believe it has.
All right.
That or the coaching staff's just not bringing guys along the right way.
Well, to bring up your point before we start wrapping up the team and start talking about the Chargers game with Sunday Night Football, you briefly brought up the Bengals trying to make some moves, right? They were looking to bring in a corner and a running back.
Yeah, smack in our face.
They ended up signing Brightwell.
Yeah, whoever Brightwell is.
Practice squad player.
Yeah.
To add depth to the running back room. What's
great
crazy
move there. Since
if just even a month and a half ago, especially 2 months ago, but even a month ago almost, if you would have said the Bengals wouldn't have done anything at the trade deadline and then would have made only their 4th trade in franchise history mid-season, I would have not bet anything it was going to be a running back. Even with Zach Moss injury.
Yeah, well, in typical fashion, his one carry, he fumbles. Typical Bengals fashion.
Well, they didn't even get the practice exchange or anything. I mean, and honestly, he got pulled real quick and didn't play the rest of the game.
This team should have made moves before the trade deadline. They should have.
The problem is, man, the biggest problem that I see is that we're not a team. That's just it. We're not a team, dude. This is an offensive-driven team. Offense comes first, then defense. And our defense is taking a back seat to it in the locker room and on the field, dude. And it shows week in and week out. You know, and again, it's being offensive-driven by a head coach who's also the play caller. who is obsessed with more and more and more, where their running game has taken the back seat and has taken the back seat. And then people want expectations of, well, like Bingo Bob said, I mean, they were a fucking decimal, you know. Again, I mean, when you telegraph where you run the ball, you know, because you don't know how to call a real running play, because everything in your head is all pass, motion. This is the result, bro. Like, this is the result. And again, like, you can see it in the locker room. You can see it on the field, dude. It's not a full team. It's an offense, and everybody knows it. You talk about Cincinnati, it's offense. Elite receiver, elite quarterback. That's it. You have to move down to Trey Anderson, who Reggie had on the screen a minute ago, to actually have anybody around to talk about our defense.
But it's not like we haven't spent high draft picks on defensive players. So what's the problem? Are the guys that you're picking out of the draft, which other teams seem to nail, are we just flat out missing all these high draft picks in defense, or is it bad coaching? Because
I think it's a swinging and missing, bro, and we've been doing it a lot lately, bro.
I think
look at the Zach Moss deal, bro. I mean, signed a 2-year deal with him, and he's a fucking.
We're talking defense, though.
I understand that, but it's still the same thing we're talking about, bro. Like how we're signing, how we're trading. All I mean, again, dude, like make it.
That's a free agent pick. I'm talking about when it comes to drafting.
It doesn't matter. We're swinging and missing, bro. Don't matter if we draft, trade.
And I'm sure some of it is swinging and missing, but I'm sure a lot of it, I believe, is the defensive coaching staff, dude. Marion Hobby and all these fucks not doing shit the way they should be doing it. And they're not bringing you can't continuously pick great athletes from college ball when everybody else is picking these great athletes from college ball. They all seem to work out here and there, and we're not getting any of them to work out. And now, the longer this continues to go on, the more you have to hold the coaching staff responsible, dude.
Okay, so again, is it Zach's fault? Who's the leader of the coaching staff? Because you refuse to put Zach.
Who's an offensive coach who basically came out and said he lets Lou have the reins for the defense, right? It's not like Zach's even over there with the defense.
That does not mean he is not an
overseer
or an oversight.
Right. So Zach does need to step up and fire Lou Anarumo.
Yes, bro. Yeah, or maybe
what's funny is
last season for Zach.
What's funny is just
that's not happening.
Just to interject here for a second before you guys get too heated, right?
I'm not heated, bro.
Right now, across all 3 platforms, we got about 55 people watching. If you're joining us, thank you. We're live every Tuesday night at 8:30 during the season. But you both just proved a point of mine. Both of you did right there. My point this entire season, and even going back to last year, has never been that Zach shouldn't be held accountable, which is what most of the fan base constantly screams. My point is that Zach should be held accountable for reasons other than the offense. Everyone complains about play calling, about offensive decisions. Zach has done about 95% right. I mean, over the past 4 years, even with Burrow not in this offense has been potent. We can sit here and trash the run game all we want, but just how teams like the Eagles and the Ravens are built to run the ball, the Bengals are built to pass the ball. We acquired offensive linemen in free agency that are pass blockers predominantly. We literally have spent mass resources and receivers and tight ends. That we have an offensive-minded coach. Like we are yes. You said a second ago, what's the result of all this? Of everything leaning towards offense? Well, the result is they're top 10 in most categories. Burrow's first in yards, tied for first in touchdowns, second in rating, ninth included 6 fewest turnover chases, leading in Triple Crown. That's the result of putting resources in offense. Zach has been a failure for all of the reasons other than offense, in my opinion. For his, like you said, Ray, his lack of leadership over the defense, holding defensive coaches accountable, holding himself accountable as a leader for the team to not be so and to somewhat his credit this offseason, he's part of him letting Dan Pitcher take the reins was for him to spend more time in the defensive rooms. Those are his words, not mine. Now, how much did that actually happen or not? I don't know. But offense is the least of this team's problems. And a few play calls a game, yes, have been crucial. And some of them have been good, some of them have been bad. I am not a defender of any of those. My point is that the offense shouldn't have to score 30-plus points to win a single football game. So, and that falls on Zach as a leader of this team, as a leader of the defense, holding the defensive coaching staff, holding the defensive players accountable. Is the offense perfect? No. But they've been more efficient
They have to be.
in the run game than they've been good in the run game. But they've been a dominant passing offense, even without T. Higgins, who at this point has proven Bengals are going to find people for Burrow to throw the ball to if he's not going to be on the field. You know? April said it's a combo of offense, defense, calling wrong plays, refs, all of it combined. Burrow having the stats he had last game. There's no reason we should be losing games. Everyone needs to step up. April's given the pregame speeches in the
we're talking about the numbers his offense can put up. Guess what? We're going to LA for Sunday Night Football against the number one defense in football. So here we go again. We are going to have to rely on this defense to win this game for us, more than likely, because the offense probably won't put up 30-plus points on the Chargers defense. They probably won't. So therefore, we're going to need our defense not to let Herbert and his gang look like all pros. But you want to know what's probably going to happen, don't you? Is they're going to look like all pro, the whole fucking offense against his defense. And it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game until the end, because this defense is embarrassingly bad.
Ray, kick us off on Bengals and Chargers 8:15.
I think Bengal Bob just did.
Yeah, we got flexed.
He said we're embarrassing.
We got flexed to Sunday Night Football.
We're embarrassing, bro. That's what Bengal Bob just stated. So
the Chargers are currently sitting at 6-3.
I think they're the 6th seed right now. And again, they got to battle us. Then they got to battle the Ravens on another primetime night game. So, I mean, if we can walk away with this win and have that head-to-head against the Chargers and Baltimore beats them, again, we got Denver who's sitting right there also.
There's 4 teams ahead of us right now that we're going to play.
It's tight.
We're really going to be fighting the Broncos and the Colts for the 7th seed.
You have the 7-2 Steelers that are ahead of us.
Well, that's just it. That's what I was saying. We could push the Chargers back to the 7th or 8th seed by delivering a loss to them, and then the Ravens
5-5 Broncos and the 4-6 Colts. All 4 of those teams are ahead of us. We play all 4 of those teams, and we play one of those teams twice. So, and we play the Chargers, Broncos, Steelers, and Colts in the next 7 weeks. Basically, 5 of those weeks, we're playing those 4 teams that are ahead of us in the playoff hunt.
I mean, that's the real question, man. We go in there and we do it, even if it is a drag-out, knockout fight, and it's an ugly-ass win, and we pull off this win. If we can't beat Pittsburgh, the season's over. I mean, it's over.
We just have to split with them.
I mean, at the end of the day, dude. I mean, that's going to be the deciding factor right there. We got swept by Baltimore. It ain't going to mean shit if we sweep Cleveland. So we have got to sweep Pittsburgh. I mean, it's that fucking simple, man. And again, it all starts with this Chargers game.
They can only afford to lose one game.
We're going to fall back
the rest of the way.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter who it's to, right? Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, you literally you have 7 games left. You have to go 6-1 if you want a chance. And that's really because you're playing all those teams. 9 wins, if you win the right combination against those 4 teams, you might have a chance at getting in with 9, but that's a lot having to go in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take our team
with a horrible defense.
It's going to take our team actually playing as a whole team, and again, you could say that all you want, but we held Baltimore to 7 points. No other team has ever done that this season. So you could say it's an embarrassing defense and a horrible defense.
It is.
I mean, it really isn't. It really isn't.
Even bad defenses have a good half now and then, dude. Wow, they had a good half.
Well, they're going to need to have.
Let's give them a fucking applause for a good half.
It's progression, right?
They have gotten better throughout the year,
and we're seeing them drop down in the ranking system because of it. So to say it's just flat out embarrassing, do we have embarrassing?
Did you not watch the game the other night?
Yeah, was there?
That was embarrassing.
There was some pretty embarrassing moments, absolutely, but you find those in every game of football, bro. So again,
Yeah, you find them more in Bengal games, though. That's the
That's the
problem.
difference
you're
in
just one of
margin.
those type of.
It's the 6 inches in front of your face.
You're just one of those type of people.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Ray. How you think the Bengals and Chargers game is
Yeah,
gonna go?
not denying.
Call the defense for what it is.
How you think the Bengals and Chargers game is gonna go? Call it
God,
out,
I
Ray.
hope the defense comes out and smacks the Chargers in the mouth and shuts Bengal Bob the fuck up, man. That's what
I hope so too. But not gonna happen, probably.
Yeah, I got a. Are we doing prediction? Okay. Yeah, I got a 20.
Did you write down the predictions last week of the score of the game? I didn't.
I'd have to look, man. I might have wrote it down. I usually write it down every week. I got this game, man, at 27-21 final. Cincinnati.
Nice.
And I mean, I think it's gonna be just one of those games, dude. You know, low scoring first half and about the same amount of scoring points in the second half, man. But we'll see. I mean, it's prime time, baby. Anything can happen.
Yeah. And this wasn't a primetime game. It got flexed to Sunday Night Football. Bobby,
Which
you
I
wanna
don't
go?
think
You want
that
me to-
did the Chargers any favor, already knowing they already had the primetime game the very next week against another AFC North team. So I think that could really fuck the Chargers moving forward and where they're standing at right now, you know, as the 6th seed. But my
And in
bad.
the public court of
Go
public
ahead.
opinion, if you take 2 bad losses to AFC North teams in back-to-back weeks, your stock's going to drop. You
My
know.
bad. Go ahead, Dingle Bob.
No, you're good. Bob, you want to go? You want me to go?
Go ahead, man.
Sorry, I was getting a call. Honestly, man, I think this offense is at the point right now to where even on an off day, they're still going to score 24 points, 28 points. I mean, like I think that they're far enough along in the season. They put enough on tape. They have enough of their tendencies that they're showing, and they've figured out over the past few weeks. Like last week, part of the headlines that I personally had was they've been showing more identity than they've showed gradually. And I think they doubled down on it this week and Burrow threw for 400 yards. I hope that this game doesn't take 30 points to win, but I think the Bengals can score 30 points to win this game. But honestly, the defense has been getting better, in my opinion. I know that it sucks. It feels really bad with the amount of points that they gave up, you know, late in this past game. But if they can just
4 touchdowns,
have
you know.
some stretches like they have had in some of the halves and a game or two like the Giants game, they need another Giants game. But here's the thing. The Chargers 6-3. They're have the Harbaugh effect. They're well coached. They're much better than they've been in past years.
Number 1 defense in football.
I know. So I mean, you don't want to rely on our offense to have to try to score 30 points and win a game against one of the best defenses in football. Because here's the thing, even though they're the number 1 defense in football, I still think the Ravens play us tougher than them. Even when the Ravens defense is bad, because division opponents know each other. The Browns, we've seen it so many years against the Browns. The Browns aren't that good offensively, but their defense matches up with us well. And even when they've been top 10 ranked or top 20 ranked, they tend to do well against our offense. That's just how division opponents happen. The Chargers, you're not a super familiar foe, even though it's AFC, especially now that Harbaugh's there. Like, I see this game. The Bengals have started fast. The Bengals scripted plays have scored in like 4 straight games. Literally, the Bengals' past 4 opening drives have been touchdowns for like 15, 17 plays, 12 plays. I mean, I think they're going to score early in this game. Hopefully they can score, you know, and defense can start strong, give us a good start, go into halftime, come out. I'm going to say 28-21 Bengals. Just because I think even though the Chargers have a good defense, the Bengals offense can be that good. And Burrow's locked in, dude. Chase is locked in. Like, I honestly, if you're a defensive coordinator around the NFL, even though the Bengals are 4-6, there ain't a whole lot of defensive coordinators that would pick the Bengals to play. I'm telling you that right now, son.
I'm scared.
I mean,
I'm
just being honest.
scared.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Bengals
there ain't a lot of
offense
teams
line-
that want to see Cincinnati make the playoffs. That's for sure.
100% true. Bob, what's your prediction?
My prediction is we need to knock on wood, and all the fans out there need to knock on wood that Joe Burrow makes it through this game healthy, for one. Just keep on knocking. Because Khalil Mack, Bosa, they're all chomping at the bit. This offensive line's been allowing more and more fucking pressure. If Orlando Brown Jr. don't come back, but they're going to wreak havoc on us, which I hope is not the case. I hope the case is we come out and score early and often, and this defense can limit the damage through the first half. I really hope that we get a chance to defer and get the ball in the second half, because I think that's going to play huge dividends in this game. I really do. I mean, if
The middle eight.
if this defense can't get some stops in this game late in this game, we're going to lose this game. I think this game's going to overtime, and I think Ray is right. It's going to take a whole fucking team effort. It really is, because that's how bad our defense is. I wouldn't even really worry so much that they have the number one defense, because I know at the end of the day we can put up some points. But at the same time, I don't want this Chargers offense looking all pro. All of a sudden, Herbert throws a 400 or 500-yard game, because he has the capability of doing that against a bad defense.
Everybody's having their best game against the defense.
This team was the coaching staff for the Senior Bowl, the year before these guys came out. And I remember this whole coaching staff talking up Justin Herbert and the ability that this guy had. Yeah, he's kind of, had some shitty coaches, the first couple of years of his career. Things haven't went his way. But time and time again, this defense, no matter who we play, damn, that offense looks good. I'm just going to stop right there. I'm going to say 31-28 in overtime. Bengals win.
Wow, overtime win.
31-28.
So before we move on to the last two segments, I want to say something, and I truly feel this way. Harbaugh don't realize it yet, but he's about to coach his first NFL playoff game since he's been back in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the mode the Bengals are in right now.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh knows a lot more about football than me, and he's living and breathing it right now, preparing for the Bengals. So he realizes it. He has to realize it.
Oh, he knows
it's whether he gets the message across this week to the players, because as a player and a former player, I'm telling you right now, sometimes you don't think about it that way. Even when you're being told that, it's hard to feel that way sometimes. Because when you're in the shoes, and the Bengals are in the shoes right now, Harbaugh and them got a Bengals team coming in that are prepared to win a playoff game. Because this is one of the teams.
Well, you know what?
They got to almost win out. Burrow feels like he has to play perfect. I mean,
he's got a little bit of an advantage. He kind of has a little bit of an advantage this week because his prick brother just played us. So you better believe his prick brother is going to send him all the info he needs. Fuck, he'll probably send Ray Lewis out there to talk to the team.
Abe was like, you know what? Coach Ray and Bengal Bob need to lead our team by example. We all have the same goal. Y'all need to stop with the extra dramatics at LMAO.
I'm not being extra dramatic. I'm just passionate.
And a little crazy.
Bob's not even wearing pants right now. You don't even know it.
Motherfucker's crazy. I don't know, man. I think something.
But I tell you what, right now, I'm going to tell you right now.
Sunglasses.
If we get a lead and then this defense allows the Chargers to come back and beat us in the fourth quarter, that's it as far as I'm concerned. That is it.
You know what the key to this victory, the real key to this victory is?
Defense?
No, it's being able to run the fucking football, bro.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not, because that's not who we are, dude.
Chase Brown, all-time rushing record,
bro.
single game record.
Oh, my God. Guess what? A few weeks ago, that 127 yards got to be his highest rushing game this year, bud. Sorry.
Abel's trying to get
I didn't say those yards. Real Reggie did. What the fuck you talking about, buddy?
I'm just saying
I told you
that's
the key to victory
that's
is running the football. Period.
not.
That should
We're
be
not.
the
We're
key
not
to
a
victory.
running team. How many games you gotta
Exactly,
watch in
bro.
this offense to realize that?
Are you done? So you don't realize what Real Reg was talking about hardball before you started talking about the Hardball brothers calling each other cheating, right? Which is that he's a very educated coach.
You don't think one prick's gonna talk to the other prick this week?
Are you done?
You don't make
It
sense,
happened.
dude.
It could happen, bro. It could happen. Sure, they might have fucking called each other, but at the end of the day,
No, you
neither
better
one of them
believe
is
it.
going to expect us to be able to run the fucking football. Their game plan is to get pressure on Burrow, to hit him as many possible times as possible. The only way to slow down a pass rush is to run the fucking football, bro. That's a
right at the number one defense in football. We're gonna come in with a running game plan this
all
week.
week they are planning
God,
on pass
dude.
rushing. Dude, there's where you don't
my
understand
God.
football, I feel like, on that level, bro. All week they are practicing pass rushing. Because, again, like you said, they're not expecting us to run the football. And if we do, we're probably going to tell them where we're going to run it. So if we actually practice this week on focusing on the run game, not so much the pass game, came out and surprised the Chargers by being able to fundamentally run the football down their throats.
Which we can't, but yeah,
They
keep
have
going.
to change their game plan, bro. And theirs could be, again, that's the key to victory. Not coming out and watching Burrow run for his fucking life like we've seen. That's not the key, bro. It's not.
They gotta be able to at least run the ball to be able to change it up
and make teams respect us.
They gotta go back to how they were for a few weeks.
We don't have a consistent running game.
They gotta go back to how they were a few weeks and where they get back to running it efficiently.
And even then, they can't trust this running game to get 1 yard.
Quick. Burrow's got to get the ball out on his back step hitting the foot. I mean, that's just the truth. Because he's under drugs
high as hell, bro.
No, dude, you don't. I want to know what you're watching. Because this defense.
This dude right here in the middle of my
God, dude.
All right, well, we just have plenty of toxic.
They can't be trusted to even rush for a yard.
My toxic talk this week was going to be all the Bengals fans saying we should tank the rest of the year to get a better draft pick.
Yeah, that's ignorant.
That's the most toxic talk I've seen this season is people saying. A couple of them were bigger Bengal influencers. And they're like, we should just.
Know, man. Bengal Bob said some crazy
God.
shit this season.
Toxic talk. We should tank. Zach will get fired. We blah blah. It's just like you people are insane.
I don't care how the rest of the season goes. They're not going to fire Zach Taylor.
Should have woke up Friday morning.
They don't fire in season regardless. That just, I mean, all right. Let's get to brighter days. Since he's finest five.
Yeah, dude. Hold on. One of you guys are gonna have to go first, man. I need a minute, dude. I got kids.
You're good.
Hold on.
I got you muted, so yeah, we can't hear you yelling at the kids in the background. You psychopath. He already took his headset off. Bobby, you want to go first? You want me to go first? All right. Hold on. Caveat. If you're watching this in the days to come as a VOD,
let's talk shit about Ray while he's gone.
If you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch in the days to come, you're not watching this live with us. Right now, we're sitting at like 49 people on all three platforms. We're live every Tuesday night at 8:30. And we talk all things Bengals, talk the game.
It's 49 of you that are wondering what games Coach Ray's watching. Because I don't know what games he's watching.
Shout out. Look at this. I got the veterans. They had the old lady surprise me when I came home.
Nice.
Pretty slick, huh? For Veterans Day. But this week's Todd, we do a segment every week called Since He's Finest Five. And we do players, coaches, position groups, whatever in Bengals history. And then we pick our 5 favorite at that position or what group. And this is a combination of stats, fan favorites, personal opinion. There's a lot that goes into it. It's as Nick Wright would say, a rich tapestry.
Yeah.
Where is my graphic? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so
let's go ahead and show ours.
This week is offensive tackles. So notice this isn't right tackles, left tackles. It's offensive tackles. So, Bob, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
It don't matter, man.
I'll go. Let's do it. So, this one was, I think, one of the easiest ones we've done, but also you can kind of show you a little bit of your own flair. I think the top 3 are unquestionable, in my opinion. I think Anthony Munoz is probably the greatest offensive tackle in the history of football. Especially, he's the best left tackle in the history of football. One of the best offensive linemen in the history of football. No offensive lineman had the pure dominance. Years as All-Pro, years Pro Bowl. I mean, Anthony Munoz was the real deal. He's the first Hall of Famer in Bengals history. Well, second, right? Paul Brown. But first player in Bengals history. And, yeah. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If Anthony Munoz wasn't on this list, Willie Anderson would be number one. Make no mistakes. Willie Anderson is the Bengals' best right tackle and best tackle aside from Anthony Munoz in Bengals history.
I agree.
If Munoz wasn't a Bengal, Willie would be the best tackle. He's by far and away the best right tackle we've ever had. Andrew Whitworth, one of the best Bengals. One of the best tackles in franchise history, multi-time Pro Bowler, was All-Pro, won a Super Bowl with the Rams, a great Bengal, a great man. He's on Thursday Night Football, Prime. He still loves the Bengals, and we talked about it a lot. We wished he would have signed a 1-day deal and retired with the Bengals, you know. But he'll probably be in the Bengals Ring of Honor one day, maybe. He's a potential candidate in the future. Joe Walter. Walter played with Munoz, and they had, I believe, 4 years of the most dominant years in Bengals offensive line play as far as tackles go. And, you know, I think if Willie Anderson wasn't on this list, he would probably be the best right tackle the Bengals have ever had. And I think that says a lot. So I think he deserves to be on this list. And I'm sure 5, Orlando Brown Jr. is kind of a surprise. You know, my honorable mentions were Levi Jones and Vern Holland. Both great players. And they played much longer careers than Brown's played to this point. And Brown hasn't played, arguably, aside from this year, even though he's been hurt, as good as he's played with other teams. But this list is a rich tapestry. Orlando Brown is a multi-time Pro Bowler at left and right tackle. He, if wouldn't have got hurt this year, was probably going to be at least a second team or Pro Bowler at tackle, potentially. Probably not an All-Pro, which is one of the few things he doesn't have on his resume. So I think with already the quality of Bengal he is, the quality of man that he is off the field, he's already established himself as one of the better tackles just through a couple of seasons with the Bengals, minus the obviously top elite guys. So I think if you look at the other tackles that were penciled, like Levi and Vern Holland, really the only reason you would put them over Orlando Brown is because their length of time with the Bengals. And because this is my list, I chose to not weigh that as heavy, which I realize in some people's mind is probably not how they view it. But to me, I think Orlando can represent something going forward. Orlando's going to be with Burrow and Chase for a few years still.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of ball left in him. Bob, you want to go, Ray?
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead, Bob.
I know Lapham didn't play, that much tackle for us, but I can't mention anything to do with the offensive line list for anything with the Bengals without mentioning Lapham. He's been with this team for 30, 40 years now as a player and a commentator. Got to have him on there. Levi Jones, basically he's on here because he took on 4 or 5 Pittsburgh Steelers in a brawl in Vegas, and guys got heart, played with heart, tough, Andrew Whitworth, future Hall of Famer probably. Once again, another fucking player that this team wouldn't pay and let him retire as a Bengal. They thought he was done. Clearly he wasn't done. Willie Anderson, the level of talent that Willie Anderson went up against at right tackle in this league, you could arguably say, it was one of the best performances by a tackle in general over a span of, his career that you can stack up against guys at the left tackle position.
The elite guys.
In a different era. I mean, he went up against them. Doesn't get the respect he deserves, belongs in the Hall of Fame. And then Anthony Munoz, his name speaks for itself. So
I like it. That's a good list. I think it shows your personality. It shows the things you value in the team. I'm never going to argue with anything that has to do with Dave Lapham. Ray, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, bro. Yeah, I mean, to your point, Reggie, on your list, you had Joe Walter. Again, I mean, when you look at the 1981 Cincinnati Bengals offense, their offensive line, dude, was arguably our best offensive line in the history of our franchise. In that 1 year, going to the Freezer Bowl, all that shit. Joe Walter, Anthony Muniz, Dave Lapham. I mean, all-star linemen for Cincinnati. I threw Bruce on there, man. He played 11 seasons for us. I watched him as a kid. He was very versatile. He's not really known so much for kind of like Dave in that sense of playing tackle, but he was just like Dave in the sense where he played center, played guard, played tackle. Obviously I got Dave there at 4, because of that. I mean, again, dude, it's Dave Lapham, bro. I mean, he's a legend. I mean, you think about 2 of the biggest offensive line legends in Cincinnati.
Bam, bam, bam,
The
bam.
first name to come to mind is always Anthony Munoz. I mean, and then you might think of Andrew and then Dave. I feel like Willie skipped over too many times. And obviously we all 3 of us put him in our top 3. I just had him and Witt. I mean, it's fucking big Witt, man. I mean, I loved watching. Pissed me off the way it ended with him.
Yeah.
Should have retired as a Bengal. But we've seen Bengals do that before, right? Leave Cincinnati and go get themselves a Super Bowl ring.
This cheap-ass organization don't want to pay him.
It happens too many times.
Another player on the long list of Bengal
Jesse
players
Bates.
they let walk too early.
Corey Dillon.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to leave.
I understand that.
Corey didn't exactly walk out on good terms.
He still walked out and found himself a Super Bowl ring.
Y'all's facial expressions look like mug shots. LOL.
That's because we're from the hood. So all the people that are watching, we from the hood.
Alternate Marvel Universe April on YouTube said, I want this to be Bengal Brothers and Sisters. LOL, I want in on this. Yeah, they actually said that title was too long to have. So it has to say the brothers.
Yeah. But, I mean, all-time Cincinnati Bengal of all time, man, Anthony Munoz. I mean, that's going to stand for a very, very long time. It's going to take someone like a Joe Burrow or a Jamar Chase to get anywhere near the acclimates that Anthony Munoz has, man. I mean, it's pretty unreal.
List. Yeah. Good.
Pretty unreal.
Pretty unreal.
It is,
yeah,
man.
my only issue would literally just be Willie and Witt being swapped. But like you said, it's your list, personal preference, and again,
right.
I'm sure there's a lot of people like, how you gonna have Brown on here after just like 2 or 3 seasons with the Bengals when all the tackles the Bengals had? Like, and
that's like a futures pick, huh?
Shout
That's
out
a
Levi
futures
Jones
pick.
and Vern Holland. Yeah, if you notice and you go back, if you're watching this in the days to come, and you watch previous week's episodes, you'll notice most of my lists usually have one modern player.
Yeah.
Usually.
Nothing wrong with that, Reg. Just throwing some futures in there.
Yeah. Calls when I see it.
Yeah.
April on YouTube said, excuses. That's dark evil, April.
Stop sounding like Louis Anarumo.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dude, he's missing his glasses, bro. That's his problem. That's his problem.
Yeah,
my problem is fucking defense. That's my problem.
Somebody stole his
My
glasses.
problem is just someone's got to be held accountable. Somebody's got to be held accountable, dude.
Nick always brings up Bobby's trademark glasses.
Who's generally held accountable of teams? The head coaches, bro.
Did you see that alien pop up in the picture? Boom, boom.
No, I didn't see the alien, bro.
Ray was swinging his arms, flailing backwards. That was great. That was great TV. Anything we missed tonight?
Did we talk about the front office enough?
You know what? You know what? We did not talk as much about the front office.
Because I'm telling you what, man, they're pissing me off. I thought that was a huge smack in the fans' face this week by missing the trade deadline. You know, What'd you see in the Steelers game the other day? Oh, that's right. A guy they got for a 6th-round pick catching a touchdown. What'd you see in the Chiefs game? Oh, that's right. A defensive player getting a sack that they picked up for a 7th-round pick. Oh, a wide receiver they picked up for a 5th round. This team didn't do a damn thing before the trade deadline when they know they should have. And if they don't, that front office know they should have picked somebody up, then we have a bigger problem on our hands than just not getting guys at the trade deadline. But what do they do just to try to make things okay because they did catch the heat for it? Let's go call in 2 has-beens who you probably gave an offer higher or lower to insult them on purpose because you didn't want to sign nobody. But you did it to make it look like you're trying to do something. When damn well they didn't. Right. And then they didn't do a goddamn thing, dude. They know what the problems are in this team.
Bro,
and they've not done nothing to address it.
I'm going to break my computer again, bro.
They've not done nothing to address the real problems with this team.
I don't know
You'd
why
rather
you're
talk
so
about
surprised, bro. Why are you so surprised?
Well, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Bro, it's a never-ending cycle. It's Cincinnati, bro.
I think that's my thing is that I
would
just
rather
don't
talk
expect
about
them to do it.
I would rather talk about the inconsistencies and officiating this season than talk about our front office.
To talk about something else, anybody notice anything different about me this week? Anything?
You got a hat on?
No, I wore hats. I wore not hats.
Oh,
every week this
season.
Every week this season, I've worn the black chase. This week, I'm wearing the white 9, son. And I decided that was the reason why the season's been a roller coaster. So you're welcome that I decided to change it up, put on the white jersey.
I got the white.
The Bengals are going to win out. But you've worn the white this year.
But does it cancel out the orange pants that we lost in earlier in the year?
Those orange pants are about to have a reversal. Reversal. The karma's
defense better get some stops.
Bengals are going to win 7 straight games, make the playoffs, run table with it, but they're going to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship 106-0, win the Super Bowl 55-0.
Nope.
There's my one crazy exaggerated call out for the week.
And in reality, we'll probably I'm not even gonna go there because I ain't gonna jinx this, but
this week Bobby wants to be negative so bad. You can tell.
Dude, I feel so negative towards this organization.
4 or 5 games,
but not Zach Taylor. Still at the swinging on the swing set. Riding the D as hard as you can.
Our offense is not the problem there, bud.
Riding the head coach's D as much as you can.
I don't know what he got so much hate towards Zach Taylor for. He's a part of that clan, dude.
In all fairness to Ray,
for 3 seasons, bro.
The defense has been the big problem here, bud.
A lot of the fan base does feel that way. I personally do not feel that way. I'm not a believer that Zach is the root of all evil.
And I think the fan base that feels that way just don't watch the same football. They're just uninformed.
On his bullshit, his lack
of uninformed
for 3 seasons now.
And you should.
His lack of leadership in the locker room.
Dude, this is one of the best offenses in football. You can't use the play calling argument. Sorry, dude. That's out the window. We have a fucking MVP quarterback season going. A wide receiver about to win the Triple Crown. You can't say a fucking word about the play calling, dude. You got to lose that argument because right now you're embarrassing yourself when it comes to that. The biggest problem with this team is defense.
That's your opinion.
Okay. Who are you going to go get this? Never mind, dude. See, once again,
as soon as
you let your hate for Taylor blind you.
As soon as I got
you're blind.
He was like, let's talk shit about Coach Ray, didn't he?
You're blind.
April's trying to stir the pot.
I'm gonna watch this back. I guarantee you that motherfucker.
I think she is stirring the pot there. But your hate for him has blinded you when it comes to shit. Dude, he's one of the best play callers in football, Ray. You can't keep saying that. He's one of the look at the season this team's having by mostly his play calls, probably. So you can't say that.
Game
now. I think game planning. Okay. I've seen every game calling the play to the. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to explain it to you if you shut the fuck up, bro. In the moment,
Oh my God, dude.
trying to improvise and be creative, he's a fucking failure, bro. And he does it in the biggest moments of the game. You could say whatever you want to say, but he's done it time in and time again, bro.
It's won games and lost games.
This time it was actually on Joe Burrow. This time, not Zach Taylor. But at the end of the day, dude, in the biggest moments and the biggest play calls that he has to go off of script, were a failure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We're an absolute failure. And if you think
the problem is you're like the rest of the talking heads.
Watch the tape.
Now it's time for you to listen, dude. You're like the rest of the talking heads. You're trying to find 4 or 5 plays in a game that, he got this wrong. We shouldn't be in that position, dude. We shouldn't be even in that position for you to have to go and find the 4 or 5 calls that he fucked up on in the game when we're still putting up 30-plus points, dude. We have a horrible defense.
Let me ask you this.
What part of that don't you understand, dude?
The Chargers have the number 1 defense, correct? So how many points Baltimore is going to score on that defense? 10?
It's untelling.
What happens if Baltimore goes in there and puts 30-plus points upon them?
It don't matter what Baltimore does. It's about us.
Are they an embarrassment? Is their defense an embarrassment?
If what, Baltimore goes and puts up on them?
It's embarrassing. Well, you said the Chargers have the number 1 defense. What happens when Baltimore next week in primetime goes in and puts 30-plus points? What happens then? Is their defense embarrassing? Or did they just bash the number 1 defense in the league, bro? Like, which one is it, dude? Like, which one is it?
To me, it just
the problem is it happens every fucking week, dude, to us. I don't care what other teams do against each other because it's any given Sunday. Continuously, this defense misses tackles and shuts down, dude. It's time and time again. This problem with this team is not Zach Taylor and his play calling. Sorry to bust your bubble, bud. But you're like the rest of them. You got to go find 4 or 5 moments in the game that didn't work out, and that's the reason why. Dude, you make no sense. That argument has no fucking base to it at all.
No progression in our defense whatsoever, bro. You have bad mouth and talk shit the entire season about our defense. It's been one player after another, dude.
We've lost game after game because of our defense. What are you not watching, dude? You're picking 4 or 5 plays a game that we made a mistake on, and then the defense will go and allow 4 touchdowns in the last quarter and a half of football, dude. But so no, our offense didn't do this at this point. That's why we lost. It's Zach Taylor. Blame it on Zach. Fire him. He's the worst play caller in the world, even though we got an MVP quarterback, a triple crown wide receiver. But it's the play calling.
So where were they at on the 2-point conversion to win the game, brother?
It shouldn't have came down to that. It shouldn't have came down to that.
It came down to that. It's a divisional game. It's football. It came down to that. So what happened, bro? What the fuck?
There was a hit to the head of the quarterback, an egregious hold. I don't know.
Again,
these are the parts.
Still didn't make.
These are the parts of the podcast where,
bro.
This is part of the podcast where it's time to say goodnight.
Where
I lost that game because they failed to convert a 2-point conversion.
Okay, Ray. Whatever you say,
period, bro. Period.
Okay, whatever you say.
I mean,
let's take an online poll, and they'll tell you. Guess what? Shouldn't have been in that position because the defense is allowed 4 touchdowns in the second half.
Lost the game on the 2-point
God
conversion.
Damn, dude.
The offense lost the game on a 2-point conversion because they didn't want the defense to go back on the field. Because I think they knew Baltimore was going to score.
Because our defense is horrible.
Or maybe that's another bad leadership.
What I was going to say, though.
Leadership's right. A lot of it is coaching. You're right. A lot of it is Anarumo's coaching.
I take polling outside of the show. And, the number 1 rated thing that people like to tune in to see is your guys' weekly argument. And I don't want to interject because I just sit back. The guys at work, like people, they're just like, the best part of the show is when,
Bingo Bob talks out of his ass.
You know what?
I mean,
I will say, most people will say you're both right to some degree. And that's usually how I feel, too. That's why I don't interject.
Not on this,
a lot of things. But,
not on this. Not on this. And you agree with me, Red. You're just not going to say it.
Negative Nancy and ready to rumble. I mean, I've been clear that the issues of this team are defense, in my opinion. I think Zach is, like I said earlier, you guys both proved my point. I think Zach is very much to blame for a lot of issues with this team, but it has everything to do with
Attitude reflects leadership, bro.
Of his overall leadership and especially accountability on the defensive coaches and players.
Yeah.
And I think that's
the whole staff's trash.
I don't believe that the 70% of the fan base that believes Zach Taylor is the root of all evil. I just don't believe it. And I don't think Ray truly believes that. Maybe. But
I think he does.
Because he's the head coach. Because I've said before, as the head coach,
think
you
he
want to make
hates
the
him.
argument that he's
I don't
that
hate Zach Taylor, bro.
that he should be held accountable because he's the head coach. I'm never going to disagree with that argument. But I disagree with most of the fan base that the offense has to do this or that those few play calls of the game, like Bob said, are the reason this team loses. The team went for 2, and honestly, for weeks and weeks, all I heard was fans. When it's 4th and short and it's 3rd and short, stop trying to run the ball. It's bad. Put the ball in Burrow's hands. They've done that for the past 2 weeks. This week, they literally did everything they could to put the ball in Burrow's hands.
Right. So
should it have to
before you continue, right there?
Should it have to be that way?
I've heard that before, but that is such a generalized statement, right? That's such a generalized statement.
You're right, which is why they don't.
The actual play and the X's and O's of the actual play. When you hear a Bengals fan say that, you shouldn't run the football.
They're not.
You should pass the ball. I absolutely disagree with that statement. What you need to do is not telegraph where you're running the football. And unfortunately, again, Zach Taylor is an offensive passing-minded coach. He does not.
But see, Ray, here's the thing. Here's the thing, brother.
We would not telegraph by motioning our tight ends.
You're missing
where we're running the football.
You're missing the fact that this is a 70% to 30% pass to run offense. We ran down time and time again how much resources this team has put towards the offense. If you want to make the argument that was an overall mistake in doing that, okay. But they hit on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, so that was the route they took. I'm not saying that it's right or perfect or should be that way. If we lived 20 years ago, yeah, let's run up I formation and run the ball every time. But there's a big part of modern football and society, right or wrong, that believes that your $50 million a year quarterback should have the ball in the biggest moments. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm saying that's the route that the Bengals have gradually leaned towards. I don't necessarily
disagree with that. Look,
you're not built to run the ball.
Look how strong he is.
You're not built to run the ball. So why would you line up in the biggest moments and run the ball at the best run defense in football? That's a division opponent that has your number, and take it out of Burrow's hands, who's thrown for 428 yards and Chase has 200. Now, can we argue that the ball should have went to Chase? We can have that argument all day. We can have an argument of the decisions Burrow going through his reads. I personally don't think that it was a decision Burrow made on those 2 4th and shorts. I think that's how it happened. Like you said, that's the X's and O's. That's the contacts. The contacts on those 2 4th and shorts was that Burrow went through multiple reads and he had to get the ball out because he's under duress, and it happened to be the long ball, and it happened to be 2 4th downs in a row. So it feels bad. But that's football. That's football.
You're exactly right. That is football, dude. That is football. But if it's 3rd and 2 and you have already made your mind up as a coach, we're going for it on 4th down no matter what, right? So knowing that, you have 2 options. Either you take the deep ball, you take the shot, which is what we saw the Bengals do, or you put Joe Burrow under center and you run him right through the 1 or the 2 hole. So then no matter what, you get right back up on the ball if he falls short, and you run that exact same play again, and you run it right at him. Because if they want to sit there and say they are the best, we're the best of the best at stopping the run, that's the one thing you need to try to achieve as a team against them, is to come out and punch them in the mouth and show them you can run the football and you're not scared.
While if we were writing a textbook, Ray, I wouldn't disagree with anything you just
said. Nailed it, but that's not who we are.
5 minutes ago, you just said, 5 minutes ago, you just said, personally, out of the words out of your mouth, was that you have to look at the X's and contacts. It don't matter what you want to do. It don't matter if you want to come out running the 1 or 2 hole. No, let me finish. It come out and Burrow in this offense, they're going to take what the defense is giving them. And again, whether that's right or wrong, that's what they're going to do because this team's built to pass the ball.
Which is understandable. Which is understandable.
They're taking if the defense has 10 guys in the box, they're going to throw it.
So again, how many times have you seen Joe Burrow take a quarterback sneak right up the middle from under center this season?
This year they haven't been doing it because they don't want to get him hurt.
So again, we did it. We
You
tried
know
the
what I
whole
mean?
push. It didn't fucking work because we tried to do it in the end zone.
Yeah, so
But
they
it's
QB sneaked with
unorthodox.
Tanner Hudson.
Nobody expects it on 3rd and 2 with our quarterback. So that's why you do it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
this is what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. Zach Taylor and Lou have lost the creativity and the imagination to be the coaches they need to be in the biggest moments. That's what we
Zach
have
gets
seen.
questioned.
That's what
Zach
we've
gets
seen
questioned
over the
on a
past 3 or 4
handful of
weeks,
plays. Zach gets questioned on a handful of plays throughout the game. If Burrow sneaks it on a 3rd and 2 and gets hurt, the entire world is going to be the Bengals will be a laughing stock of the entire world, because you got Joe Burrow hurt, QB sneaking on a 3rd and 2, and then they're going to bring, why weren't you running the ball? Why were you not just letting him throw the ball? You designed and you use motion to try to throw short to emulate run plays. That's why Burrow checks it down so often, is because to them that's as good as a run.
So again,
When your run's abysmal, that's what you got to do.
things. So we can just disagree on coaching.
But again, back to the whole point of this whole argument though, was that those minute plays a game, using the 2-point example or using the 2-point conversion as example, the entire reason they're going for 2 is because they don't trust the defense to get a stop in 40 seconds to go to overtime.
How many times do they go for it on 4th down right out of the gate?
If that doesn't tell you that they fundamentally, like you said, it's geared towards offense, that they fundamentally truly believe that they know the defense is bad, and rather they're being held accountable or not, that's not the argument. That's truly how they felt. They showed that. They're like, we're going to go for 2 and decide the game right now.
Didn't they go for it on 4th down on the first drive? Didn't they go for it on 4th down on the first drive?
Zach went for it on almost every 4th down. Besides like 1 or 2 inside their 30. I mean,
that's because that defense is embarrassing.
They did what most fans have been calling for weeks.
Not so much
put the ball in Burrow's hands.
Embarrassing, It's just you got to be able to score points on every possession when you're in a big game against a very.
But you shouldn't have
opponent.
to. That's
you shouldn't have to.
But that's my
every
point.
possession
You shouldn't have
counts,
to,
bro. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I agree,
bro. Look
fully.
at some of the best.
Do you ever remember saying?
But think about Ray. Think about as a coach, dude.
They're still high-scoring games.
Think about as a coach, Ray.
You guys are failing to realize, bro. You guys are failing to realize that aspect. It doesn't matter if you have the 2 best offenses and those 2 teams just so happen to have the 2 best defenses. Do you think that's going to be a 0-0 game, or do you think that's going to be a high score?
Think about you as a coach, brother. Think about you as a coach.
A question.
No, I understand what you're asking.
Okay.
What? Go ahead.
No, it's all good. Go ahead, bro.
I was saying, think as yourself as a coach. And now imagine I come up before a game to you and I say, hey, coach, you better score on every single possession or you're going to lose this game.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, this is football. Who expects to score every possession?
Again,
this is the fucking NFL, bro.
That is the goal, bro. The goal is to score.
Of course it's the goal. The goal is to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl every year, but no one's ever done it.
To go back to what Bengal Bob was saying, he went on every 4th down. He absolutely has to at this point. Not
because the defense is so bad.
Not necessarily because of our defense. It's a part of it. Absolutely, it's a part of it. But there's a lot of that. It's called playoffs. And every one of these games are playoffs. So in the playoffs, you have to be able to pull the trigger. There is no, I'm just going to be aggressive. You have to be aggressive.
You have to play to win.
Raymond, when you were going for it on 4th down with a 2-score lead, your defense is bad. They had a 2-score lead and they're still going for it on 4th down. Your defense is bad, and you know it's bad.
We were in field goal range, and he didn't have the confidence in Evan McPherson to kick the field goal. That's why we went for it on that 4th down, brother. It wasn't because our defense.
Both can be true.
It was because
we on that occasion, maybe on that occasion. What about the other occasions?
He's missed his last 2 or 3 above 50.
You're right. And on that occasion, you're probably right, dude. You're right on that occasion. You're right on that 4th down. You're right on that one. On that one, you're right.
It's been late, guys. It's been a long podcast.
Yeah. All I'm saying, brother, is that all I'm saying is that the Zach Taylor offensive hate of him on the offense side of the ball has gotten so bad that literally people are willing to overlook all of the defensive flaws to purely blame the offensive side of the ball. And I'm not saying that's what you're totally doing right now.
I'm not doing that, bro.
But
Right, because the defense is solely to blame.
The offense is not perfect. You're 100% right, dude. They need to run the ball. They got to be more efficient running the ball. I mean, that is partially holding this team back. I don't disagree with that. But I'm saying is that is not the number one factor that is holding this team back. And we can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree.
Defense.
It's a part of it. It ain't just the defense, bro. It's the whole fucking
all right.
In the L.
We'll agree to disagree there, little brother.
As usual, if you join us tonight or you're watching this as a VOD in the K's to come on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, thank you. We're live every Tuesday night at 8:30. It is action-packed like this every week. But that's how fan is. That's how family is. We're real brothers, and we're real fans. And, that's the difference. In coaching styles, the difference in anecdotes. Hey, that's why teams are built different. Us and the Ravens, both, in my opinion, powerhouse offenses built exactly the opposite. And that's football. That's the beauty of football. And that's what brings billions of people to watch it and turn out every week. And that's the beauty of the game. So
we appreciate everybody that's watching and stuck around.
Yep. And join us next Tuesday at 8:30. Hopefully we'll be following a big game.
Yeah.
Big
If not, it's going down.
Bengal Bob wanted to be real negative this week. He resisted the urge. But it's waiting to spew. It's going to come out of his eyes, mouth, nose, everything.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. We better win.
We got one final Who Day from April on YouTube.
Who Day. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for commenting. We appreciate it.
Everybody have a good night. Who Day.